Okay, so you had what you thought was the dream team in the beginning, didn't work out, had to restructure. How about talk to me about emotionally? What was that like when the first team didn't work? What work did you have to do on yourself to kind of get back to square one and then rebuild?
Well, I paused franchise sales for about 3
Okay.
months. I just invested over the 2 years prior about $700,000 in research development, marketing strategy, this and that. And so I was like, I have to recoup this spend. But what's most important? Taking care of the people that already bought.
Yeah.
Right. Let's make sure that they at least have some people to lean on and some good training. And so we paused franchise sales. And like every entrepreneur goes through it, you kind of get to one of those low points and you're like, damn it, what am I going to do? And so I did.
Feel you, brother.
Yeah, you kind of sit there and cry for a little bit. Everything works out for a reason.
Yo, this is the Streetwise Podcast, where we help you level up your game, level up your leadership, and level up your life. I'm your host, Matthew McReynolds. I'm a multi-brand franchisee, and I'm a franchise consultant, which means I help people find, launch, and build their ideal franchise business. My main goal is to help you get off of zero and become the person that your dreams need you to be. Buckle up, get your popcorn ready, let's go. All right, Streetwise Nation, we got the man, the myth, the legend, Zach Tanner with Painter Bros here today. Zach, what's going on, my guy?
Hey, what's going on, Matt?
Oh,
Thanks for having me.
It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. Tell me a little bit about what you guys are working on this week. Any big news in the Painter Bros system? What y'all got?
Yeah, it's been busy, man. We're coming off of a couple big conferences. So this week's connecting a bunch of franchisees with corporate America procurement directors and moving the needle with big projects. So it's been busy.
Corporate America procurement directors. What the heck does that mean?
Those are the people that spend the money. So
Okay.
you get paint jobs, other kind of big projects for Home Depots, Walmarts, whatever, flow through certain individuals, and we connect franchisees with those individuals to run national accounts.
Dude, see, that's something that's really cool about you guys that I like a lot. Y'all are a little bit different than some of the other paint concepts that are out here. How did you start down the path? I'll get into not how did you start the franchise. We'll get into that, but how did you, maybe that's the answer to this question that I'm about to ask you. How did you go and start down the national accounts path?
Well, so my uncle and his business partners, so Scott Abbott, Conrad Kolba, Chad Jones, they started Five Star. They started Five Star painting, Five Star franchising. And so when I was 17, I got involved in that on a level right before they sold to Dwyer. And so I was able to get a little sneak peek at what that looked like and what I saw that could be improved on. And of course, every entrepreneur, you think you can do it better. And so I looked at it and I said, man, no one's chasing this commercial stuff. So started getting involved in it and realized there's not really a huge difference. All we're doing is franchising salespeople to go sell national accounts versus go sell local market sales.
Okay. So did you just start your own thing first? You built up your own location, you built it up locally, and then you decided, all right, I got something I can take nationwide. How did that work?
Yeah, man, I was the painter. I was the guy painting houses, painting buildings, and I got picked up by a big GC firm to start doing some Walmarts and Sam's Clubs and Targets, and before I knew it, I was working for like 10 of them. CBRE, Cushman, Wakefield. I was doing big projects for them nationwide, and so got enough volume, got enough understanding, and needed a franchise instead of doing the traveling painter dance. So franchising made sense.
Man, dude, what have been some of the bigger pitfalls that you've come across? Like when you first, let me preface this, when you first got started, because I know the dude I'm talking to right now has leveled up from the younger Zach Tanner from back in the day.
Yeah. No, you're right, man. So this is my third time going at selling franchises. I got my butt kicked the first two times. When you're close to a bigger yeah, when you're close to a bigger organization, you're like, oh, selling franchises, I can do that.
Sure.
I face planted the first time. I sold two franchises, and they both had great first years. They were doing $500,000 plus. And then the second year they dropped off to like $100,000. But they dropped off to $100,000 that they reported to me. They were really doing like $700,000. And so I lacked the control, right? And so I wasn't collecting royalties. So I said, we're not ready to go big with this yet. Press pause. Let's retool it. I can't trust these people. So that was in like 2017. Went back to the drawing board. 2019, I said, all right, here's what we're going to do. We're going to get five people who want to open up franchises. We're going to train them for a full year, teach them everything, and then cut them loose. 4 of them decided to go start their own competing enterprise at the end of the training period and breach their contracts. And only 1 of them stuck around. So that was my second phase plant.
Oh, man.
So spend a bunch of money, spend a bunch of time, and not really a lot to show for it. And so after that, I said, okay, I built technology to manage pretty much all of it. That's my company. It's called FM Flow. So built that, got that fine-tuned, and paired that with large national accounts. And our third launch was maybe 18 months ago now, almost 2 years ago, I guess. And we've been smooth sailing. We've been kicking butt on this go. So we're feeling good about it.
Man, let's go. Man, you epitomize failing forward, man. That's beautiful. That's awesome. That's awesome. I think a lot of people are afraid to, take that step, man. What got you to not just the first time, but the second time? You just had the vision locked in that you knew that you could figure it out?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a pretty simple dude, and I think at the end of the day, there's a quote that I share with my people all the time. It's there's one thing that separates the winners from losers. The winners get up and try one more time.
There it is.
And it's simple, right? It's like, well, let's just keep trying. And so that's really what it was. I guess I'm too stubborn to know when to stop. Maybe, I don't know.
Did you have I see the Michael Jordan art back behind you, and my background, I work with a lot of athletes, right? And a lot of these guys, you could tell the successful ones from an early age because everybody that is feeding into them, you tell a young athlete that wants to make it big, the odds are against you. You got to have a plan B. But the ones that make it, I mean, they're locked in, and they might have a backup plan, but they're ready to burn all the boats. It sounds like you were kind of in the same spot. Did you have like a different path at one point that you thought you could go down, or was this you rocked it with 5-star from the jump and then were like, no, man, this is what I'm gonna do?
Well, it's funny you bring up the athlete side. So I was a quarterback in high school, and I was pretty big into sports. Man, I'm kind of a bigger guy, so I could handle my own on the field. And I had some good things going. I had some good scholarship opportunities. And then I got hurt my senior year. So I was that all in. All I saw in my future was football. And then I got hurt my senior year. I didn't even make it to college. I mean, I could have gone and probably rode the pine a little bit and see what happened. But getting out of high school, I didn't have a plan outside of football. And so I moved from Oregon out to Utah. Actually, before I even graduated high school, I was just going to drop out and go to work. I was not school oriented. And so moved out here and crunched some numbers and created a new do or die plan to take over the painting industry. So
Dude, I love
Yeah.
it. I love it. Who are some of the big influences that you had? I mean, I can imagine your uncle and that team, the names you shouted out earlier, but outside of maybe people that you never met, like anybody that you've always looked up to and wanted to like aspired to be like that have helped influence what you're building today.
Oh man. I mean, those guys at Five Star, my uncle included, those guys are just tough. I mean, you see what they built and how they built it. That's just simple, hard work.
Yeah.
And so I looked at them and I saw, okay, it's going to take a lot of this and that. But bigger picture, man, I mean, I don't know if I have a certain super successful person. I've always had Jesus Christ has always been my my
There it is.
motivator. Be Christ
Come
like,
on.
right? And
Yeah.
so I've looked at most of how I build this in that light, and it's like what we've done is we've built a company around how our people decide to be successful. We don't require people to mold to our company. And so letting them be the best version of themselves has been big. So shout out to JC.
There it is. Let's go.
Outside of that, you want to know something funny? Mike Welch, right?
Oh yeah, my
You know
guy.
Welchie. So
Yeah.
my first time at your guys' franchise conference, I was sitting there and just shooting the bull with him on the last day, and he always gives me these little breadcrumbs of wisdom. I don't even know if he realizes it, but I listen, and a lot of people I listen to, but Mike, I follow what he says, and one of the things he said was, do whatever you can to sell as many franchises as you can. Like stop worrying about building software, stop throwing money at this and that. Like sell franchises, and then that'll let you build from there. So I always listen to Mike. He's
Mike's a
another.
good dude. Shout out Mike Welch, man. What
Yep,
a good,
Mike.
solid guy right there. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, we love
Okay.
Mike.
No, that's cool, man. So tell me about FM Flow. You kind of like breezed over that a little bit, but that was a big piece of what gave you guys some structure. Was that the thing? Was that the tool that really helped you guys kind of push it forward and change how you operated?
Yeah. Yeah, so it bridged a lot of the gaps. What we built into it is automated royalty drafting, which was a big part of it.
Okay.
Like I was saying, my first round I couldn't capture it. So my system captures all royalties at the point of sale, so we own our payment processing portal. So franchisees always know where they're at. We always know where we're at. That's a big fix. Other big part of it that actually prompted part of our push into the commercial accounts is our cost per customer acquisition per marketing channel, right? If you're spending money, you want to know how much money you're
Yeah.
making off of it. And so
Amen.
this tool, it automates the percentage of cost associated with every dollar earned. So I know that Home Advisor costs me 7% of the total job value to use their services. I know organic costs me 1.5%. And so trying to teach people how to draw that up on Excel and work this and that was really difficult. And so we API integrated with every marketing channel out there, and that's been a big win in just controlling the chaos. So yeah, technology, I mean, it's a big deal these days.
Man, okay. Now, how do you guys work with these franchisee candidates, and they come in, and I'm assuming, you don't necessarily expect the franchisees to understand that high level technology stuff that you guys are building. They got to be able to build the brand in their local market. Is there a certain type of person that you're looking for that, kind of fits your vibe, fits your culture?
Oh no,
Did
you
I
cut
freeze
out
on
on
you?
me right when you said a certain kind of person that can, and then it cut out.
Yeah,
What?
is there a certain type of person that fits your vibe, that fits your culture when you're looking to bring guys in or gals?
Yeah. Yeah. We want we want people who are like-minded, right? We like to have fun, we work hard, and we play hard too. And so we earn that playtime is the best way to say it. And
There it
so
is.
empire builder type of individuals, we've had a lot of success with, in just understanding our org chart, what our value
Mm.
prop is top to bottom. Um, we've kind of struggled with the owner operators, being able to see and capture that full understanding top to bottom, during that franchise sales process, because it's more of a executive level business, right? We have reoccurring revenue from national accounts, 7-figure contracts going all the time, and so you need infrastructure. So yeah, empire builder type individuals have been cleaning up on this side of the fence, man. It's been fun to watch them.
What's going on, everybody? I hope you're liking the conversation this far. Please take a moment, give it a 5-star review. It really helps spread this out to as many people as possible. All right, let's get back to the episode. Yeah, do you guys typically sell bigger areas? Like, do you find that people come in and they're going 1 unit, 2 unit, or they're more likely to go 3, 5, 10?
Yeah, that's a good question. It depends on the area. I guess a good example,
Okay.
we just sold a 10-pack in Fort Worth.
Yeah.
But the main reason
I
why we
might be a
sold,
little salty that I didn't have anything to do with that, just maybe, but no, it's all good. Good for you guys, man. That's
there's
awesome.
it's okay. There's still room in Dallas.
All
No,
right.
so
All right, come
we
on.
here's some ammo for your sale. So we sold we got the contract for a company called Prologis out of Dallas Fort Worth. They've got about 350 some odd facilities out there. We won the award for reactive OpEx work. So
What
any
the heck
work,
does that mean?
OpEx, it's a different spend bucket. So CapEx, big projects, that
Okay.
you're going to depreciate over 10 years. OpEx is day-to-day spend. Hey, I need you to patch this drywall, paint this wall.
There it is.
Right. So big, small. So OpEx is the day-to-day billable hours, clock in, clock out. So we had a big award, and we said we need people to help us get this done. And so this guy came in and said, I'm your guy. I want this whole area. And then lo and behold, he's also signing up with Dollar Tree and with Harbor Freight nationwide.
Wow.
He's just lighting it. His name's Cody. He's a solid guy. But yeah.
So are you guys helping the franchisees kind of get these national accounts even before there's somebody in the market? Like, you get the national account, what happens if there's nobody there yet in that particular region?
Yeah,
that's the struggle, huh? That's the game.
It is doing it the old way before the new way is ready, right? So if we don't have a franchisee, we're forced to travel, and we eat it on our side, right? It's not as enjoyable of a contract to fulfill. So we still take care of it, but we push like hell to get someone in there to help accomplish that PO.
But what a cool thing from the franchisee perspective. I mean, I'm a part of 2 franchise systems, and if I signed up and had jobs lined up, national accounts that are going to be recurring before I even open my door, that is a differentiator, my friend.
Yeah, it's been exciting. We've been progressing. We've been getting better at what we're doing, and the fact of the matter is, the more franchisees we have, the more national account work I can sell and everyone can sell, because we're each other's infrastructure. So Cody out of Fort Worth, let's say he gets 1,000 stores he has to repaint. He uses the whole franchise system as infrastructure to accomplish it. And he can tell the client, yeah, I've got people everywhere. And so the more people you have, the easier this thing gets.
Oh, that's beautiful, man. How has your organization grown from the jump? Like, when you guys started, what does the team on the franchisor side look like now?
It had some shortcomings. See, we had a what I thought was a dynasty team lined up from the get-go. And it did not work out that way. We had to start over about halfway through our first year. So now we've got a killer team. We've got Bailey Rayner. She does all of our franchise dev. She's an absolute rock star. She sells
Rock
about
star.
two or so franchisees a month. She's got an assistant, Kristen, who helps her out. And then on the ops side, we have a CertaPro vet. He ran his own CertaPro for about 8-9 years. You might know him, Steven Winterroud. He was a franchise consultant as well for a couple years at the FCC. But solid guy, great culture fit, and he's a coach, right? He played college football, and so when I talk to Steven, all I think of is coach. I just think of my football coach, and he gets out there and coaches people. So we've got some good support there, and then we have our whole national accounts team. We've got John Grohl, who used to be the director at Lime Painting. He's now he runs our Walmart account, and he's lighting it up. He's bringing in some huge numbers. He trains franchisees on how to produce Walmarts. So we've got Vanessa Park, who runs the Best Buy account. We do a lot of Best Buy painting across the country. She trains franchisees on that. We've got Nick Snyder, who's our GM, and he does a lot of special projects. Like we work for the LDS Temple. I don't know if you know the LDS Temple.
No.
So Mormonism. It's a religion, but they build LDS temples all over the world, and he manages that account. And he's actually doing a project right now, big 7-figure project in Samoa, a big paint job in Samoa. Right?
Oh my goodness.
So yeah, just a lot of wealth of knowledge. We've got a great CFO as well, Jake Salas. But together, I mean, that team's experience is pretty unparalleled. We've all been together for about, I don't know, going back 7 years. For the longest. I've got a great business partner on the national account side named Louis Pinero. He helps me keep the production side in place for all that crazy sales I get in the pipeline. But yeah, we got a good team, man.
Dude, that's awesome. Okay, so you had what you thought was the dream team in the beginning, didn't work out, had to restructure, but now, I mean, obviously you're very proud of what you guys have built.
Oh yeah.
How about, talk to me about emotionally, like how you had to, what was that like when the first team didn't work? What work did you have to do on yourself to kind of get back to square one and then rebuild?
Well, I paused franchise sales for about 3 months. I had just invested over the 2 years prior about $700,000 in research development, marketing strategy, this and that. And so I was like, I have to recoup this spend, but what's most important? Taking care of the people that already bought.
Yeah.
Right. Let's make sure that they at least have some people to lean on and some good training. And so we paused franchise sales, and like every entrepreneur goes through it, you kind of get to one of those low points and you're like, damn it, what am I going to do next? And so I did.
Feel you, brother.
Yeah, you kind of sit there and cry for a little bit. But no, everything works out for a reason. I'd known Steven for a little while, and he was actually helping me recruit. He owns a part of a recruiting company, M&Co, and he was actually helping me recruit. I was like, dude, I need this director of ops person. I need someone. It was so funny. I remember I was fly fishing on a river, and I remember telling Steven, I was like, I need someone with experience in the industry, running employees, building and selling their own painting company. And I was listing all these things off, and he's like listening intently. And we're like, okay, we can find the person. 2 months goes by, there's like no one there. And then finally it occurs to me, I'm like, I think Steven's the guy, actually. You know, like I call him up and I'm like, hey, I think this person we're looking for is you. He was like,
wow.
Huh. And so yeah, it's been great ever since.
Yo, thanks for listening this far. It's at this point in the episode that I want to talk about Streetwise franchising, teaching, training, building. Streetwise franchising. As a franchise consultant, it's my job, it's my absolute pleasure, and it's my mission to help aspiring entrepreneurs find, launch, and build their ideal business. I've been a franchise owner for almost a decade. I know what it means to struggle. I know what it means to build a team. If you're ready to get off of zero, if you're ready to build something for yourself, visit streetwisefranchising.com. Let's get the conversation started. Don't wait until tomorrow to build your future. It starts today. Streetwise Franchising. Stay humble, stay hungry, stay streetwise. Let's get back to the episode.
Dude, that's really cool, man. Yeah, a lot of I resonate so much with the tears that come from just being an entrepreneur. Blood, sweat, and tears, man. Golly. So something I wanted to ask you about, you guys are a presence when you walk into rooms, especially these like broker conferences with all these consultants and as founders, I'm just amazed at, I only have to go to 2 of these a year. And
Yeah.
I mean, I was like, dude, I couldn't talk for 2 weeks after my voice was trashed after that conference. How many of those do you go to a year? And what's your strategy when you're walking in, you're dealing with all the consultants from not just FranChoice, but all these other broker networks, FCC, IFPG, FranNet, FranServe, like, are there any that maybe you're not in all those that I listed, but like, what's your strategy and how do you do it?
That's a good question. It's a big question. So in the beginning, the first year we launched, so like, I guess year and a half ago, we went to upwards of 20, maybe 25 conference and trade shows. We cast this huge net. We said, we want to talk to everyone about everything. We want all the leads we can get. It just doesn't work like that at this level, right? And so we reeled it back in and said, let's make the most meaningful relationships with the most people that we can, but realistically, how many people can we actually have meaningful relationships with? And so I said, let's stick to FCC and FranChoice, and let's drop everything else. And so when we go to these conferences, I very rarely talk about what we're doing as franchisors, and I really just get to know people. I mean, I got to know you a little bit at some of these, and I mostly just go hang out and make sure they know I'm someone that they can trust, so that when the conversation does come up and they really want to know what it is we do, well, I can trust him. He's not blowing smoke at me. It's a real thing. So I go to build a relationship, and that's same thing I do at corporate America sales, franchise sales. It's build a relationship and be the same person today you're going to be tomorrow.
Yeah. No, those relationships are huge, man. What was it about those 2 networks that was that the ones that you felt had the most quality? Did you just pick out of a hat? Anything specific of why you picked those 2 and dropped everything else?
I mean, we were actually, that's a good question. So here's another faceplant story for you. When we first launched, I hired a smaller FSO group, and they'll remain nameless. I'm not a gossiper. But long story short, it was not a great experience. Found out that they weren't following up on leads. They weren't getting any sales done. And the only group that they actually connected us with was the FCC.
Okay.
And so that was our start, was FCC, and everything happens for a reason. And we're like family now with FCC. Every one of those consultants, and they give us the most deals. We do a lot of deals with FCC now. And then FranChoice, I actually went with you guys because another trusted entrepreneur, Kelsey with Bloomin' Blinds.
Bloomin' Blinds, shout out, holding their pin right now.
That's right, baby. Those brothers, I really like those brothers. And Kelsey and I, we swapped some stories, and same thing with his brother. And he said, if there's one group I would say is worth your time if you're looking for quality consultants and quality candidates, he said FranChoice. It's like they cost a little bit of money, but it's worth it. So I was like, all right, sounds good. Let's give it a shot. So as a referral.
No, it's cool, man. Yeah, no, I appreciate that. Because me, I came up as a franchisee, and then I've been in one system, Mosquito Joe, for a while. Recently launched Groovy Hughes, and then became a
Nice.
consultant at the same time. So the year 2023, man, I started this podcast, and I bit off way more than I could chew. So I'm working through all that right now. But I'm new to the space, and so I like to learn. Obviously, I do this not just to kind of educate folks, but it helps me get to know certain people. But I'm interested just in learning about the space and why people go one path or another. What has it been about, like, franchising as a whole, that has just maybe shocked you or surprised you, good or bad, that you didn't? It was just a complete unknown maybe 5 years ago.
What's been my biggest surprise? I would say how easy it can be to sell a franchise. I'm trying to word this the most politically correct way. How easy it can be to convince someone to buy a franchise, and the choices
Ooh.
that people make with that knowledge has been the most surprising thing.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, I could take this a couple of different ways, man,
Yeah.
because
Yep.
that's actually why that's a big reason why I became a consultant, was because I saw how easy it was to guide people down a certain path that might not be best for them.
Yep.
And I wanted to use this platform as a way to kind of be a conduit of information, but also education. And I find that, I'm new as a consultant, like I just said, but I'm starting to work with some candidates. And I found that I got to work on my strategy, because I often scare people away from franchising a little bit more than
Yeah.
I lead them to it. But I feel like, for my own integrity, it's not for everybody.
Yeah.
Not everybody is built to be a franchisee. And yeah, it's just too easy. What do you think about, like, the whole? It's kind of like the wild, wild west, right? Like, there's not really a lot of regulation. What do you think? Is there anything that you think should be done, or people should do, or it's just like a full integrity thing? Like, maybe elaborate on your answer a little bit for me.
Well, yeah. So I think that, like, we turn a lot of people away.
Okay.
Like, we do. We're not trying to sell 100 units in a year. Like, it'd be great if it's the right people who walked in, but we turn a lot of
Sure.
people away. I think that there are some wildly underestimated costs and consequences of being a business owner, that, and I hate the word regulated, right? No one wants to be
Yeah.
regulated. But
Yeah.
there are definitely, if franchisors are audited annually based on saying, hey, consumer, I believe I can provide you with X, Y, and Z opportunity that mirrors historical findings and historical data, that's kind of a one-time upfront cost, right? You pay that one time, and then a lot of times, a lot of these companies, the way you get that work is by spending marketing dollars, right?
Sure.
But that's unregulated. That has all upfront costs, zero back end promise,
Yeah.
right? And so if there was ever a money hole, I don't think it's franchising. I think it's the way that work is obtained. I don't think it's done right. And so we're making some pushes right now with different groups and different organizations to pay after the work is landed, top line rev share. That's a set amount only after revenue's acknowledged through my platform. And because that's really what puts people in holes, I think.
I feel that.
Yeah.
I feel that. What are you doing? What are you doing outside of building this business, man? Like, how much of this we gotta keep our sanity, right? Like, we can only plug
Yeah.
in so much so we don't burn out. I mean, I see you got a nice little setup in the background. You're talking about your fly fishing. I mean,
Yeah.
if we were to, who is Zach Tanner? Like, what are you all about on the back end? What kind of hobbies you got? What are you doing when you're not running this organization?
Man, I'm a redneck. I
All right.
I was raised in Southern Oregon, And so I do a lot of archery hunting. I do a lot of fly fishing. I've got a 70 GT Ranchero I drive around. So I work really hard. When I'm working, I'm all in and I'm working. But I'm also a dad. I've got 2 kids. When I'm with my kids, I'm with my kids. I'm not working. But then when I'm working, I'm plugged in. So it's important to balance. And I think what's also important is to make sure you're not trying to separate your personal life and your business life. It's making sure you know how to make them one. And a lot of people try and separate it and draw a line, and I just don't think that's healthy.
What would you say to maybe a new business owner, a new entrepreneur that also is a parent that is maybe struggling to balance? So I heard somebody gave me advice one time, and it was, there's no such thing as work-life balance. There's seasons where you plug in to one more than the other, and you try to achieve a work-life harmony, which kind of sounds like what you're talking about a little bit. I mean, anything that because I got the kids too, right? Like,
Yeah.
how old are yours?
My daughter turns 6 this year, and my son turns 2. So I've got some little ones, man. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I got a 6-year-old, a 3-year-old, and a almost 2. So
yeah.
I'm right
So
there with
we're there. Yep.
you. Yeah. What do you say to these young entrepreneurs, man? These guys or gals that are trying to, step into the game, but maybe they're struggling to put the balance in place, the harmony in place.
I wouldn't say pace yourself necessarily. I would say business is a marathon.
Okay.
More than a sprint necessarily. And so setting those expectations up front is what gets me through it, right? Like every year I start, I plan out the year and I say, I'm going to have to run a little bit faster at these points in the year. So I know it's coming. So I'm not going to get burnt out if I'm planning for it. And so I see a lot of people get burnt out because they haven't really planned the next step out. They're just burning, and then they kind of die, So just be smart about it. You only have so much energy at the end of the day.
Yeah, that kind of goes into what is it that you're actually wanting to build and why. I find myself kind of struggling with that. And, I have so many ambitions and I get caught comparing myself to people like you, who, seem to be building this thing that's so much bigger than what I currently have in my setup. But it's like, I don't know your struggles. I don't know what you're going through. I don't know, like, we're not the same in, where we came from. And, I often have to challenge myself with that and just taking a step back and appreciating what I have. And I heard somebody told me this, and I can't remember who it was, but it was, in those moments where you're struggling with, your kids, maybe you're frustrated. Just imagine you are 80 years old, and the moment that you're currently in is just a snapshot where you're just like witnessing this moment of your kids being little again, but it's the only opportunity you have. How would that change your perspective in that moment where you really want to yell at these little ones, but then you realize like they're only going to be little for so long, and it sounds good, but it's so hard to stay there.
It is, man. I know exactly what you're saying. I get those exact same words. They're only going to be little for so long. I get told that. And you just live in the moment, dude. My daughter just did the full monkey bars by herself last week.
Let's go.
Might as well have landed $1 million contract. You know what I mean? It was it's like, we got this. We're gonna go get ice cream.
Let's go.
You just live in the moment, man. You gotta enjoy what you have, and you're gonna have problems as a business owner. Just make sure you go find the problems that pay you the most money at the end of the day.
There it is. There it is. So full disclosure, man, I wing this. Like I prep a little bit beforehand, but this is like super conversational. But I usually towards the end I ask like the same couple questions. So unless something comes up that I think about, I just got 2 more questions for you. And the first one is, when you think about your personal legacy and what you're trying to build, fast forward. I mean, you're a young dude. We're about the same age. I'll save the audience to guess which one of us is older, but we're about the same. you got a long time left on this journey. So, you fast forward, 30, 40, 50 years from now, like, what do you want to have built looking back?
Honestly, I've always been a chaser of happiness, not to be super cheesy, but I just want to
No,
be
come on,
happy.
man.
I want to enjoy life, and I want to be able to share that freedom to be able to enjoy life with others. And a lot of that freedom and that happiness does come from hard work and accomplishment. And so sharing a business opportunity that has a limitless ceiling, that's really well put together, that is unparalleled. I feel like I can put my mark on economic progress and
Let's go.
feel accomplished. You know what I mean? It's like it's
Yeah.
streamlining revenue from top to bottom, and people actually win. I can feel good about that.
Oh, that's cool, man. I was going to ask, this was something that just popped up, so this isn't my second of the two, but you kind of answered it, but I want to see if there's anything that you would add to what's your favorite thing about being in your position as a franchisor, building out your team, but also getting to interact and witness these franchisees building out their personal legacy?
My favorite thing, I am probably the most underqualified person in my company.
Come on, man.
Is probably my favorite part of it. I can paint a
Yeah.
room faster than anyone, but at the end
Let's
of the
go.
day, what I really like is continually having people who are more equipped and know more than me and are better than me at a lot of different things come in and add value to the organization. And I sometimes find myself twiddling my thumbs because I look around and it's like, if I were to try and help you, I would just make you worse. Like, what am I going to
There it
do?
is.
What am I going to do really? So it's been awesome. It's been awesome to see people use their personalities, their natural skill sets, and be successful.
Dude, there it is. And that's beautiful. That's I don't know if you're familiar with EOS and traction, but the whole concept of letting go of the vine and
Yeah.
building out the team so you can delegate in order to elevate yourself and your organization. And so many entrepreneurs struggle with that. And you just said it so beautifully. Are you a reader? You like books? Like what kind of resources do you tap into to like feed into yourself?
Honestly, dude, I read I read a bunch of contractors license crap that I have to read because I'm licensed
Okay.
all over the country. But outside of that, I read one book. This sounds terrible as a business owner, right? I'm probably not the best role model this way. I've read one book cover to cover in the last 12 years, and it's called The E-Myth. I read
come on.
a book when I was 17 years old. My uncle told me to read it, a 5-star painting guy, and he said, you got to read this book. And so I read that book, and that gave me enough perspective. And occasionally I'll go revisit the book and study different parts of it. But dude, outside of that, I'll read a little bit of Bible terms here and there if I'm kind of bored or whatever, but
yeah,
I'm not a big reader, dude. I just
dude. Hey, we'll edit like the E-Myth, bro. You just dropped a hammer. That's a solid book for entrepreneurs, man. That's good.
Book. That's the book.
That's the book. Yeah, that's the one that when I talk to people and it's like, all right, you haven't read the E-Myth yet. Let's take a step back, go check out the E-Myth, and then come back and holler at me. No, that's good. All right, this is my last official one. Like the one when I said I had 2, I asked you like 3 more.
You're good.
All right, here it is. I talked to a lot of folks, and they're looking at making a big transition, and they don't always know where to start. How do you coach somebody up in getting off of zero and taking that first step? Maybe it's in franchising. Maybe it's, maybe it's your daughter taking that first opportunity to go across the monkey bars for the first time. But we got to take that first step to become the person that we need to be. How do you coach somebody up when they come across you?
Well, I think everyone, you create yourself, that version of yourself, right? It's not like I don't think you necessarily grow, like maybe parts of who you are, you grow into it, but a lot of it is creation, and that's one step in front of the other. And what I've noticed with some franchisees letting go of their corporate job as they have enough revenue, they're not entirely ready to start creating that next part of them, you know? And so what we coach is a half-ass effort gives you half-ass results. Either you're all in
There it is.
and you're going to have an all-in result, or you're not. And until you're ready to go all in, you're just going to be pointing the finger at yourself for failure. Like, we have to one foot in front of the other. And it's not necessarily, and a lot of people think, well, what if I fail? And I say, dude, you're just learning a way it didn't work. It's not failure.
Man.
It's like, you know how many times I've failed to get to this point? Like, you're learning ways it doesn't work, and that's how this thing is built. And so I don't know if there's a perfect answer for your question. It's a really good question, dude. It's a
Dude,
tough
I love
one.
asking it because I love asking it, and this just behind the curtain on why I hit that at the end, because everybody has something different, and it always comes from like their own unique experience with failure and how they coach somebody else. And so, dude,
Yeah.
that was freaking perfect, man.
Awesome.
I love it. Well, that's all I got for you, bro. Like, you got anything else? Like, if somebody that was good at this was interviewing you, like anything else that you wished I would have asked? What's going on?
No, I think you nailed it, dude. I think these type of things are best unscripted. You script it and you can't really go with the flow. So I think you nailed it. Thanks for having me on this. It's been good.
Dude, I love talking to you, man. You're for what it's worth, man. You're my role model. I'll take you any day of the week, bro.
Thanks, dude.
Always
Appreciate it.
welcome to come back, man. If you guys are interested in following these guys, Painter Bros, all the social medias, LinkedIn, hit up Zach Tanner. If you're interested in franchise opportunities, holler at me. I'll get you connected with the right people on their team. But until next time, stay humble, stay hungry, stay streetwise. Peace. All right, everybody, that's a wrap. Thank you so much for making it to the end. Hey, if this episode added any value to your life at all, please like it, share it, give me a 5-star review. It's the only way that this show is going to gain traction and help more people achieve their dreams. If you're ready to start your franchise journey, visit streetwisefranchising.com. Let's set up a time to talk. Hit me up on LinkedIn. Until next time, stay humble, stay hungry, stay streetwise. Peace.